Hi guys, welcome to the video and welcome to this beastie here. This is the MB-339. It's for Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020 and it's by a company called IndiaFoxTecho or IndiaFoxEcho, primarily from a guy called Dino Cataneo. Now at the moment we've only got a handful of aircraft which are payware for Flight Sim 2020, so I'm looking forward to testing this, seeing how it gets on. But it's worth bearing in mind during this that the sim is still in its infancy. It's not been out very long, so I suspect we need to be guarded with any add-ons such as this that we look at. Now obviously any changes to the sim, as it's updated, that then affects potentially the add-ons. So with that in mind, what we're going to do is we're going to have a look at this is one of the first half a dozen or so aircraft released. So just to make you guys aware as well, I'm looking to develop the channel, both in terms of content, the frequency I can put out videos and also the visibility. And with regards to that, I'd appreciate any comments. I'm actually going to do a separate video, I think, about what I'm planning to do with the channel. Anyway, if you do enjoy the video, please don't forget to tick like, share or even subscribe to the channel. The main reason being is that it helps me with the YouTube analytics to work out the best thing I can do in terms of putting forwards videos for you guys to watch. Likewise, I also have a Patreon page. I don't generally shout about it, but if you do want to support the channel, then any little bit helps and it's massively appreciated. But without further ado, let's have a look at our aircraft. So looking at the aircraft in terms of the exterior modelling, the first thing to note is that it's absolutely gorgeous and it works really well with the lighting in Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020. The overall impression is really good. It's well shaped, it's well rounded, it's well curved. You don't get much in the way of jaggy lines. The actual modelling as a whole is just really well done. So if you go in quite close, you can see that where the spine of the aircraft is, there's no sort of straight line ugliness. It's all very well blended in, very well shaped. Curves are curvy. You can see very nice reflections of that around the tail section here, and actually the tail itself where it joins here, you can see a wonderful set of 3D modelling there. The actual paint is glossy, has a lot of luster to it, but there are different textures. So there's a matte or satin black on the nose and the inside of the tip tanks. That's something that's used to prevent glare affecting the pilots too much. Canopy, glazing, all looks good. And then when you go into this level of detail here, this is quite staggering. I've never seen 3D straps modelled on an ejector seat before. And you know, we often get quite a lot of high detail in many aircraft, but look at the satin finish on that, the sort of sheen and the lighting and how it works. And it's all really nicely done. Let's just bring the view around here, and you can see that the panel is actually 3D even when viewed from the outside. The whole thing is very nicely done. Now, a couple of areas where I think that I need to highlight areas of the aircraft. So down here you can see a beautiful example of the 3D modelling with the actual concave surface of the wheel here with the tyre, beautiful modelling of the hub and the shaft with the wheel, and also the leading link suspension here for the nose wheel steering. Absolutely beautiful, and everything ties in. There's no gaps that I could find, there's no issues in terms of overlap or any undue bits sticking out or missing. So really nice. Again, with the main gear, you can see the actual strut mechanism's been modelled really well in 3D. I do like the fact there's different sort of textures to it. If we come around this side, we get to see a few joyous things. The first is the absolutely superb blending of the 3D shapes down here around the engine nacelle and around all the filleting here for the wings attaching to the fuselage. Glorious. The next things to highlight obviously are the undercarriage on the rear undercarriage and also the air brake. All of these are beautifully modelled in 3D, absolutely gorgeous. And again, we get to now, you can see the reflection of the main gear on the underside of the wing here. So the whole thing, it has to be said, in terms of the fit, finish and appearance is just delightful. I mean the pictures speak for themselves. So this area here round at the back where we've got the flaps that are down, and you can see into the flap mechanism, you can see the gloss and the sheen of the canopy up there, the filleting where it comes down from the trailing edge to blend in with the fuselage. It's all really nice, all really well detailed. And then when you finally look at a view like this, you can see how high quality the overall 3D modelling is. And it has to be said, although there's only a couple of liveries come with the aircraft, those that come with the aircraft are very nice indeed. So there's two models to the aircraft. There's this and the aerobatic one. But yeah, exterior wise, absolutely gorgeous. So what we can do now is have a look in the office, and if we start down here, the first thing I'm going to highlight is the attention to detail in terms of texturing and the shine of something. So down here is a sort of plasticky area of the ejection seat. You can see a wonderful mottled effect in terms of the texturing, but a very high gloss finish. Here we've got a much more muted effect in terms of the webbing for the parachute harness. And likewise, if you go around here, this is a fairly dull but mottled colour down here, the grey for the side panels of the cockpit. So you can see that a great deal of attention has gone into making sure that the texture, the shine, everything matches what is that particular material supposed to look like, to give that sense of realism. And if you come down here, you can see the level of quality of the 3D modelling with this throttle. It's just wonderful. Speed brake switch, everything. It's just absolutely fantastic to behold. Really, really nicely modelled. 3D to all of the panels, and I will focus on these two instruments. The important things here to note are not only do we have several layers to the instruments, so you've got the main frame, the face, the dials in terms of the bezels, the needles above them but below the glass. Very fine nature of, you can just see the red going through there from the needle. Likewise, you can see the attention to detail with the needles here, with the waterline mark. The attention to detail and the fineness of that 3D modelling is just staggering. Absolutely mind-blowing. Brilliant. The way the altimeter is, you can see the fineness of the needle there, that black line going through there, just wonderful. And again, you get a really good lighting effect off the glass of the gauges from the lighting, and it really is. It's showing both the best of Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020 and also the sim in terms of, not the sim, sorry, the actual add-on aircraft. The coolie hat on top of the stick for the trim, really nice. Love the fact that it's gloss, but there's a worn tip on it where the pilot's thumb's obviously been operating it. And on the whole, I think I have to say it's really, really lovely. Delightful piece of modelling. And away we go. I'll see if I can keep some vague familiarity with the centre line as we go. If I don't, it's my rudder pedals because I've got them set up poorly. Not a reflection of the aircraft. Nice undulating runway to see. She's a bit of a ground gripper, so she needs a good head of speed before she'll consider getting into the air, and even then she'll need a hefty pull. So I'll have a go now, see if she's going to go. Gears up, flaps up. Okay, so you'll notice a bit of a bobble up and down with the nose of the aircraft. That has been noted in the Facebook page. It's not entirely clear whether it's down to specific setups or whether it's sim related as opposed to the aircraft, but as I say, it has been noted suitably. It's always worth checking out Dino's Facebook page, IndiaFoxTecho, or IndiaFoxEcho, I think it is, the Facebook page name, for the latest updates. Right, so in terms of handling, she's an absolute delight to fly. Her natural environment for me is down low level in the weeds, down here like this. And in doing so, when you do that, she's really, really enjoyable, fun. Particularly with the aesthetics of the sim and the aesthetics of the aircraft joining together, you can see that there's a lot of fun to be had with this thing. And it's a peach to fly low level. Don't ask me about instrument flying, I haven't tried any. Right, in terms of handling, very, very benign, possibly a bit too benign, but then that's my personal thoughts. I've never flown the real aircraft. She's straight wing, no real noticeable dihedral, so I'm not expecting a greatly positive stability, but she's completely neutral, kind of running on rails. A common thing that's been mentioned before about FSX and P3D aircraft, as well as the default aircraft in here. So yeah, she is very weakly stable, positively stable in terms of pitch. It's just not really demonstrating it to the best of the abilities here. Your pedals, a lot of stability there. And the final thing to note is if you look at that little white dot in the middle of the gun sight, when I roll there's no adverse yaw. So I'm guessing, and this is a personal opinion, that at the moment that's more an issue to do with the SIM and the SDK than anything else. But there we go, that's how she flies in terms of handling. Now one of the areas that she does suffer from is slow speed flight. She doesn't decelerate particularly quickly, and as you can see we've got no power on, still at 250 knots, slowly slowing down, and we're in a 1,000 feet a minute rate of climb as well, so we should be slowing down a lot more than that. Pop the air brakes out, just make sure that they've gone. Yeah, speed brakes are fully out, lights have come on, which is actually that's my my torch, which is Microsoft Flight Simulator, bless it, thinking it needs its torch out. But what we can do, hopefully this will cancel it. Come down here and we'll pop those on and pop that on and that on. That gets rid of it. So as we come down towards this valley, not the greatest place to do a bit of a stall, but you can see on idle power she really doesn't want to slow down at all. It can make the approach and landing phases quite interesting with this aircraft. But yeah, as we come down back 330, still climbing, we get to about 110 and then 100, and then she'll stop climbing, but I've still got roll authority. Now it's very mushy, which is what you'd expect at low speeds, but you can see I'm now pulling fully back on the stick at 90 knots and she's doing nothing other than descending really. So unfortunately for me, the stall characteristics aren't representative of what I would expect in real life, and likewise the corresponding element of that is that she does not spin. It's not a case of she doesn't want to spin, she just does not spin at all. So whilst I pootle around here at low level, let's have a think about the overall summary. So in terms of the exterior, I have to say the 3D shaping is absolutely excellent, as is the texturing, the animation and also the lighting. The only issue I've had that was noticeable was when I was taxiing at night, sometimes the taxi light sits off to one side on the ground, but other than that, you know, really good. Internals, again superb, absolutely brilliant. The only thing really that is an observation there is that quite a few of the switches are inoperable. You can't mess around with those switches. But in terms of flying, it's following the trend of a lot of the aircraft that are currently in Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020 in terms of certainly the default aircraft, in that it seems, you know, a little bit too stable for me. Is really enjoyable though, and it's lovely to fly around and just have some fun with. But obviously it's not a study level sim, it's not a study level aircraft. It's reflected in the price. The price for me is really quite decent. It's only £18 in the UK. I think that equates to about 33 Australian dollars on the website, something like that. Yeah, that's my thoughts, guys. If you enjoyed the video, please don't forget to tick like, share or even subscribe the video. And as I mentioned earlier, I've also got a Patreon channel which I'll link to in the description if you did want to support me in the channel. But in the meantime, take care.